Hello and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate and inspire romanticism through passionate people doing incredible things. Hi, I'm a delight to have in class, Trey, and I am joined by my co-host, who is always engaging in delightful conversations, Emily.
Aw,
Hi,
thank
Emily.
you. Thank you. Hello. You're a
Uh,
delight to have in class. I bet you are.
I got that note quite a bit. I'm not going to lie, not to toot my own horn. But how was your week, Emily?
It's been exciting. I think a bear, like a live bear, found my beehive out back, and so it has been smashed to pieces. And I found it today, and that was unexpected.
Oh,
So
what?
yeah, we had a bear that had a very tasty snack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he enjoyed it
So
because he's not going to get another one.
that's it. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to take some cleanup. But that was an unexpected, interesting thing that happened this week. It happened,
Wow.
I guess, last night because I think it was still there yesterday, intact. Not today, though. So, yeah, that's interesting. I want to set up a camera and see if I can catch said bear or said bear family. But being in the middle of rural Minnesota, these things, I guess, are expected.
Yeah. Wow.
And I guess at least we got to feed a bear. Yay. How about you? How's your week?
It's been okay. Had auditions for Little Shop of Horrors the other day. I'm learning more and more that no matter what I do, I always sound classical no matter what I sing. So I am very much, this was my breaking point, and I am seeking a teacher who can cross train in both classical and in very contemporary musical theater.
Okay.
So, open your mouth and you try to sing Britney Spears, and it comes out sounding a lot more classical than that. Not a good look.
I mean, I feel like there's a niche for that somewhere. And
Oh,
maybe you could make something of that, but probably not what they were looking for.
no, no. With the taste of your lips, I'm all a rise. Yeah, not exactly what they're looking for.
Uh,
But you know what is a delight, and you know what I'm sure that we're going to have delightful conversations about his influence on the musical world. Will you please introduce our fantastic guest today?
I would love to. This is very exciting for me. I have been looking forward to this episode for a while. Tonight's guest is a voice that you will know the second you hear it. But there's a lot more to DC Glenn than one legendary hook. He's known for the song Whoomp, There It Is. I feel like I'm saying that so poorly. But he's like a hip hop icon turned voiceover artist, mentor, motivator. He's got a lot of heart. He also has something that I love about him, and that is he has a lot of joy. And I'm excited to talk about that too. So, welcome to the podcast.
Who is this guy you are introducing?
You!
I have no clue who that guy is. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah. I feel like that was one thing that was a common thread through things I read about you and just seeing like pictures of you in places like you have something about you that exudes some joy and of course that song is has been a joyful anthem for many of us through our lives at this point. And so I think that's pretty awesome. And I don't know if you feel that way, but I do.
You know what? I'm glad I'm talking to you because sometimes our mind can play tricks on us
Hmm.
where we don't think that we're feeling actually the way that we, you know, express our feelings and express these things to the world, right? And I've always been, you know, I've always lived my life by the rules of being a DJ. I've been a DJ all my life. So being a DJ, I'm standing in that DJ booth, and it's up to
Hmm.
me to keep the dance floor packed. If you can't keep the dance floor packed working at a nightclub, you're not going to be working at a nightclub for that long.
Right.
And what it's done for me is it's given me a perspective on humanity. I get a front row seat to humanity. So
Yeah.
whether it was a club that was doing, a college party might have 100, 200 people, to a club, in Atlanta called Atlanta Live that had 3,500 people on a Saturday, being able to do my job, which is to bring joy, bring energy, bring the party. That is me in a nutshell. And I do it in various different ways, whether it's through my intellect, whether it's through how hard I hustle, whether it's through when I talk to people, how I think about things, how I live my life. I'm always the DJ who's trying to keep it dancing, and it works.
One moment here. Are you hearing okay, Trey?
It's getting a little muffled for me.
Can you say something again, DC?
Check 1 2 1 2.
Oh, that's clear. Is it clear for you, Trey?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
we're
great.
good. We can continue.
Okay.
We'll take care of that later. We're good.
Guess that mic check didn't work so well.
I guess not. I don't know what's going on. It was like a weird lull. It's the mic check. So before the show started, the way I do a mic check to make sure this is the mic that's working versus like I have a couple other mics around here, I just scratch the surface of this to see if Trey.
That would be so much. That's like a first.
Well, I don't.
Next time I do a sound check for a concert, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy.
I'm so glad I could do that for you.
Right, definitely.
Well, because sometimes the software lies and says it's using a mic that we're really not, and this is the only way to make sure.
Yeah. Depending on the platform, depending on just
Mm-hmm.
everything, because this is not a perfect science, right? And it could be one little switch that you didn't plug in, or it could be something that got into your computer that day that you didn't restart your computer before. Like
Right.
I always start my computer before a podcast.
Yep.
Just so I'm starting fresh, right? And that helps me keep it going good. But when I don't do that, hey, there's some static and there's this and there's that, depending on the platform. So I like this platform, and you guys are doing a great job. So
Thank you.
You.
Thank you. I'm glad you approve of my mic check.
mhm.
Think of all the people that would approve of my.
So what's the deal with class? Like, what did you say
Oh,
about class?
you're a delight to have in class.
The delight to have in class? Well, explain that, because I'm interested.
Okay, so really for any show, my bit is at the top of the show just do a random introduction. May have nothing to do with the guest we're having that day, may have everything to do with the guest. It's just something funny that's a non sequitur.
Oh,
It's just.
so they really don't like you in class.
I'm a horrible person.
He's a
They
menace.
hated me. It's an absolute menace. No,
Was it like acting class, or just you were a teacher, or?
A little bit of everything. I've been a substitute teacher for a while. When I was a student, like I felt like I was a really good student. So doing things, it's like in the theater world, everything is a yes and. So I'm not gonna lie.
Improv.
Yeah. So sometimes I was a menace, but it depends on how I was feeling that day.
And the reason I asked that, because I am a trainer. I train constantly. When I want to learn something, I can learn it in a day. Like they call me, my rap name is DC the Brain Supreme, and they call me that for a reason. Because over the years, I have come up with different tactics to learn. It's not enough just to learn. You have to learn how to learn. Right? Learning how to learn is taking a course, and if it has 15 parts, making it, fusing it and making it one, and then you could just listen to it on a loop at 5 times the speed. Or if you have, I became a licensed commodities broker about 25 years ago.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be hard, but I knew you could take the test 3 times. So I went in and failed the test the first time just so I could see what was on the test, which gave me an outline on how to pass that and get that certification. Right? So I do these things in life that help me get to the next level, help me do this, help me do that. And they're all difficult, but it interests me when people talk about class, because I remember I started acting not because I wanted to act, but because I was on an agency for voiceover. And the owner of the agency came in and was like, "I love your face. Put him on camera." I was like, "What's that mean?" And it's like, "Well, that never happens, but you got to go get some headshots, and you got to start taking a couple of acting classes, then we'll start sending you auditions." So I did that and started going to class, and it really changed me because I go hard. I was going to class every night, every free class. I was doing audits everywhere over the whole city because the audit is like basically a free class. So you
Mm.
all the information you need, plus you're seeing what the lay of the land is on the street, right? And I started this in 2018, and now I'm in movies, I'm in television shows, I'm
Yeah.
working, right? Also as a working voiceover actor. So the importance of what you said triggered me because I have always been a person who just wants to learn. Like this, me being tag team would have never happened if I hadn't went to the first high school dance when I was 16 at a new high school, met Steve, and seen two turntables and a microphone. That was the first time I had seen that. Two turntables and a Radio Shack mixer. And I was like, that's what I want to be, a DJ. And I became a DJ. And it's funny because my friends, I was just over my partner's house not too long, a couple weeks ago, and was like, look, man, remember when you used to, I was like, remember when y'all used to laugh at me? Because I didn't want to play with them no more. Because when we were younger, we played hard. When I wanted to be a DJ, I locked everything down and became a DJ, right? And fast forward, I go to college. Now I'm DJing all the frat parties. And then, I'm teaching other kids how to DJ. And one cat named Johnny Z, he's like, he got a 4-track recorder. And 4-track recorder was like the first version of, Fruity Loops or,
Mm.
Garage Band, but in a
Sure.
physical box with a cassette tape. And you have 4 tracks to make music on. And he was like, I don't know how to use this. I was like, I'll figure it out. Figured it out, started making songs, and that's what got me making songs. And I was in Sac State, and Steve listened to the first mixtape I made where I sent him the songs. He thought I was in a devil worship. But he knew that we used to have to go spend our money and go to the studio to make songs. So the time was on the clock, but to be in your own, house and just sit there and make music, that was brand new. And I figured it out. And then Steve got a 4-track, and then we started making songs, sending them back and forth. Steve moved to Atlanta, and then I shortly moved to Atlanta. And then I started working at the clubs in Atlanta. And because I'm in the clubs in Atlanta, I get to play my music in the club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
we're hip hop, but down south is, the land of booty shake, the land of bass music, up tempo music, the old school stuff. So I was like, we'll never get out of here if we don't make an up tempo record. And our first attempt at an up tempo record was just a song that we just put together called "WHOOMP, There It Is." And that's how it happened. Like, it was no rocket science. It wasn't this big, elaborate plan.
Right.
It was just two young men talking about what they do on Friday nights, which is the thesis of every song in every genre.
Mm-hmm.
Country, jazz, blues, rock and roll, which is drinking, chasing women, having fun. That's it. That's the thesis of every song,
Yep.
pretty much in every genre of music, right?
Every generation has a few of them in
Yeah,
every
exactly.
genre. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that was how it happened. And because I was a DJ, I was always popular, so I never wanted the stardom or the limelight. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to be a rock star, but I didn't want to be a star, right? See, everybody these days just wants to be a star. So that's why you see so many young people doing everything they possibly can, whether it's fake, real, whatever, to get clicks, because they want to be a star as opposed to being an artist. It's a difference, right? So, with you, when you're saying you're trying to bridge classical with contemporary, that has nothing to do with stardom. That has to do with the art of what you're trying to do. So for me, my art was, can I rock a party? Can I move a crowd? And that's been my ride or die forever. And that's what I roll with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why after 32 years, we're still touring.
Yeah, that's so legendary.
On one song.
At what point did you realize it was more like it was something more than just this like ditty that you'd written? Like at what point did you go, wow, this is actually kind of a big deal?
My hubris as a young kid expected it, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Sure.
we're always gonna be the bomb. I don't care. You know, we're gonna live forever, right? Until you get slapped in the face and you get hit in the head by the music industry.
Mm,
Because the music industry is not fair. They're not looking out for you. And we're another one of those groups that felt the heat for that. Not as bad as most groups, but we got, we didn't get what we were supposed to get. So, you can either quit, become an old bitter rapper, or, my thing is I'm going to learn. I should have learned this first. But because I was young and I was trying to be a star, I didn't learn it first, which is what everybody's doing now. So when, you know, things happen in life where they don't go your way, you have to vow that that will never happen again. And the only way that it can never happen again is that you educate yourself on that thing bad that happened to you so it doesn't happen to you again.
right.
And if people can do that, life is hard. Life is going to do what it's going to do. Serious. But you have to be just as relentless as life is, to live your life to the fullest, because you only get one. So that's why I continue to sit here and do podcasts and spread my word or just my experience to people, because I can give you all the information and the intellect to where you will never be taken advantage of again if you want to get in the music industry to start. But nobody ever calls me back. I got a folder full of everything, every music industry course, every book, all of them. And I keep it up to date. They said, man, put me in the game. I was like, I don't even do that no more. But I always watch the industry because I feel for people who make a hit record or have some success and they didn't sign the right contract. And it could have been avoided just by you doing just with a little due diligence and you reading a couple of books. And I say, here's a folder. I give them a folder. I say, here, call me back in a month and we'll talk about some things that you got any questions. They never call me back because they think it's about being a star. You have to do this, you have to do that. And they don't even think about the business side of it. So, that's my contribution. But, I speak, it's universal across everything we do. If you want to start a business, well, you better learn how to run a business. You better treat your life like a corporation. That's how I started. It's like, treat your life like a corporation. Okay, cool. How do I do that? Well, you got to figure out what type of corporation you're going to be. Right? Okay, cool. Then you got to do this, and then you got to do that. And you read. Back then, it was just reading. Back in the early 2000s, late 80s, not late 80s, but late 90s, late 80s, it really was just about reading. But as other, technology gets better, now I've got 10 different ways to learn something.
Yep.
Whether I'm training a language model to be the new Wikipedia for my own tag team Wikipedia, right? So when ChatGPT or any of those language models writes me something, it's accurate to today, not giving me stuff that was back in 1993. Right. So there's so much there, with technology, building your own web. I had to be everything. I'm my own publicist. I had to build my own webmaster. I had to be my own SEO. I had to be my own AI expert. All these things, you cannot let life pass you by. You can't, because I've watched too many people pass on, letting life pass them by, and it's not getting the fullest out of life that you can. And the way you live your life is where you live your life. But I know that I've watched people that would probably be around 20 more years if they hadn't let life pass them by. And I'm not talking about keep working and keep doing, just keep learning, stay up on things. Everybody's scared of AI now. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you can't. Everything is not doom and gloom.
No.
It's not.
It's about being educated.
Yeah, it's about being educated. And I tell everybody's like, well, the world is this and the world was that. I was like, the world is always this and the world is always that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always messed up. Okay, so if you go back in time, and you wake up on September 11th, by 2 o'clock September 11th, this is the worst ever thing that's ever happened to you. And the world is burning and you can't go on, right? You know, there's the riots in LA, 92. It's the worst thing that's ever happened. Nixon being, impeached. This is the worst thing that ever happened. You know, all these things that happen on a day-to-day basis are always the worst things that ever happen at any given time.
Yeah.
You know, pandemic, worst thing that ever happened. You know, we all know what it was like. We all know what was there, but I say, okay, how can I use this to my advantage? It really was kind of the best thing that ever happened to me, the pandemic. We know what the other side is, the fear and all the other stuff, but it's like, this is a chance to reinvent myself. It's like, wipes the slate clean. We're all in the Serengeti together. Are you going to be predator or prey? And that's just how I am. And because I reinvented myself, when I recorded all my acting classes, all my voiceover classes, just being able to go over all this stuff and educate myself, go back to the game tape. Why is Tom Brady the greatest of all time? And Peyton Manning, because all they did was study film.
Mm-hmm.
So me having all my old lessons and all my stuff like that and organized them and everything, I went back to the game tape and studied game tape. And it almost made me cry because I had to listen to myself talk 10 years before when I'm training for voiceover. Mm-hmm. And I sucked. and I sucked as a person who's communicating to people because I thought I could whoomp, there it is, my way through everything. Mm. And I was sorely mistaken. But I buckled down, reinvented myself, went over all those old tapes. And during the pandemic, started booking because pandemic, what was the voice? We're all in this together. Oh, that was the voice.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? I started booking instantly. And then it's like, oh my gosh. I get a call from my acting coach in LA. She's like, you can travel? I'm like, yeah, I got a hazmat suit. I could shoot a movie in Nebraska. Shot my first movie in Nebraska. Shot another movie down in Georgia. Then shot another Publix commercial. Then here comes Geico. And now I get to be in a Geico commercial, which is the most sought after marketing thing that you can do as an artist. And not only did I get to do a Geico commercial, but I use all those experiences from being an actor, being a voice artist. That's why I tell people, you are enough. So what you bring to the classical and the contemporary, you can use that somewhere else. You just got to know when to use it and how to use it. And that's how I use it in the Geico commercial. And I go in, I say, I'm going to treat this like an audition. I'm going to do 5 or 6 things that I make up and I'm going to practice them relentlessly. Mm-hmm. Because they say, hey, DC, show us what you got. You do it. You're going to do the first 3 or 4 things that they want to do. But then they're like, you got anything? But I went to them before and was like, hey, I got a couple ideas. It's like anything you want to do. And everything that I planned ended up being in the Geico commercial.
Oh, that's cool.
And that thing lasted for years. And it ended up being the biggest Geico commercial of all, they spent more money and it got more everything than any other Geico commercial. I was like, more than the Hump Day? It was like, yes. I was like, more than, what's the other big one they had? Yeah, Hump Day. I mean, it was just, they all come and go so fast, but one that just stays around like a hit record, that's what, Cavemen. But those were different. That was like a group of different commercials. One commercial, ours just blew everything away. Little Richard they sat and explained it to us. And I took the opportunity, because we were still in the pandemic, let me learn how to ad agency works from the inside. Now that I'm on the inside, because they're so happy. So now I'm even going outside of that, having meetings with what's the they count how many viewers watch TV shows. Nelson. I'm having meetings with Nelson and their affiliates and understanding how this thing works.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
So I can figure out another way to hustle and figure something else out. One thing leads to another. So everything that I am is enough. And that's why I tell you've heard in acting, you are enough. Like, what the hell does that mean?
I cannot believe like how many times people said, "You are enough."
But I know it now. I understand it because you're the only one.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, you're the only one, but you have to flip your mind to say, how can I utilize that and bring that to the world and make me some money at the same time?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the key to it all. That's the key to it all. And my thing is, I just show love because, you give what you want first. And because I've always done that, I've always been blessed. I don't expect anything from people. I just give. And things come across my plate that I could have never fathomed. And to this day, like this podcast right here has kind of brought me out of a depression. I don't want to call it a depression, but I don't know if it is a depression. My mother passed, like life is one of those things where you get to these milestones. I'm at a milestone where both my parents have passed, had great lives. That's the only thing that makes it comforting is that they lived such good lives. Nothing was left unsaid. Nothing was left undone. They lived into their 80s. I can't be any happier, but I don't know if that's the depression. I don't know what this thing is that I'm feeling, right?
Yeah.
But a conversation like this makes me remember who I am. DC the Brain Supreme Tag Team.
Heck yeah!
And act accordingly. You know what I mean? So now I'm
Stairs on
so
the rooftops.
ready to go that but that's why I love doing podcasts because I get to talk. I'm doing my own therapy right now, talking this out.
Mm-hmm.
And the genesis of all of it is love and giving, right? And I'm sure the people that are listening tonight are going to get something out of what I've said. And
I believe so.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you get something out of what I said, it's a win.
Yeah, I feel like every week for us, I'll speak for myself, not Trey. He's a little light to have in class. I feel like every week is like therapy for us. We get to talk with really amazing artists of all kinds and learn their stories and what insight they have to give, but and connect with people. That is very therapeutic. So yeah, absolutely. And I get to go back and listen to it later, which is awesome. We do have a couple of comments in the chat I want to bring up. One was love from Chicago. Another one is, yes, the genesis of all of it is love. And also the wind back in your sails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is difficult. Life is really difficult. But you can have all the money in the world. It's still difficult. Things are going to slap you in the face. My whole thing is just not to get blindsided. So when I analyze things or try to make summation of something, I always start with what's the worst case scenario. Always.
Okay.
So you don't get blindsided by it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay. Now that you know that and you thought of it, now you work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you work your way up, then the solutions start happening because you're not sitting there. You basically just kind of reverse engineered life in a different way. And it's not starting negative. It's just starting by protecting yourself. And that is what I do. I mean, like I said, I'm real philosophical. I really know how to figure things out when I have to figure something out. And
it sure sounds like it.
It starts with that. Just today I got to relearn. It's not that I got to relearn. It's just that building a website 2 years ago is different from building a website today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Too
Absolutely.
much, right? Optimizing your website 2 years ago is different than optimizing your website today. 2 years ago was Google. Now it's about Google throwing in Gemini, and then the first thing you see is an AI answer as opposed to
yes,
a result. So now you got to adapt to that. Like I forgot that Google always does updates. So I'm just whimsically looking at the tag team website. I was like, wait a minute, why has the volume gone down? Wait a minute, let me get back on it. And getting back on it, I realized how much I've been missing in just 2 years. But 2 years I've been doing other things.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like trying to being my own publicist, traveling, going to all these conventions. I'm in like 30 different organizations, right? I'm a motivational speaker. I do all these different things, but the ability to adapt and learn and get back on track, that's what feels good. And that's what brings you out of your rut. That's like, something's missing. So you're depressed, like, why aren't things going right? But once you get out of your rut because you've gotten on track, now you can open yourself up to newer things and keep on moving.
I've said something similar to my own therapist, because there are days that I don't want to get out of bed. There are days that look, the mental capacity of a person is very strange, but it's always when I get things back in order. I start putting my house back together. I clean up. I do these things. I get back into the routine of doing it, and then I somehow start feeling better, and it's because things feel back in order, and I'm showing myself the love by taking care of all these different things. So it comes back to that love capacity.
I know how people go crazy. I understand why people go crazy.
Okay.
A lot of times it's chemical imbalance, but a lot of times it's self-inflicted because they don't know how to deal with it themselves. Like I've been doing therapy for 20 years, off and on here and there. When I need it, I go talk to somebody. That's why this is therapy, because we're talking.
Yeah.
Right? You're figuring things out. Your brain is moving. It's over here. It's over there. You thought of something that you were supposed to do last week because it pertained to what we're talking about. It gives you life.
Yeah, I like to think about what people did 100 years ago or more, when there weren't maybe therapists, when there weren't places to go like that. People would gather and talk with each other.
Hey man, I think about that all the time. It's like, man, you gotta live in a house that just animals can just come in anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That that's how I look at it. Like I look at westerns and stuff like that and be like, wow, they were really living outside back then.
I didn't think about it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what blows me away. It's like, man, there's no way to mouse proof or spider proof that house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You were living with animals. Like it's crazy. You slept on the floor 50 years ago. Right. So, I mean, it just depends on, it just depends. But these are the little things that I think about when I'm just looking, because I love history.
Okay.
Right. So I am a very big history buff because history teaches me a lot. And when I'm learning history, sometimes a little stupid thought comes through my head like that. Like, wow, I can't believe that they lived. Not that I can't believe it, but I would hate to have lived in a shack.
Like no windows.
He said his motivation for going to college and getting a career and doing all these things was to live in a house that had air conditioning. Something that simple. He lived in Nashville, Tennessee. Something that simple. They had fans, but he wanted a house that had air conditioning. Like those things are the things that I look back on that I was taught with two loving parents. Because I've never not known love. You know what I mean? A lot of people like had hard childhoods and stuff like that. And, I've been blessed because we used to play. I had tons of friends. We had neighborhoods. We had communities. We had church. We had everything. Teachers looked out for us. I've never not known love. So that's awesome. Why I have to spread love. That's why I have to tell people there's no excuse that you got trauma in your life. Talk to somebody and figure it out, but don't let that be the reason that you can't do this. Because a lot of people will do that. A lot of people like, well, they'll in their mind, they're saying, I can't do this because of what I went through back then. That's what the first part of therapy taught me. So when I started going back with all these memories and stuff, I realized how good I had it and realized the things that I was really tripping on were insignificant to what, to the man that I am today. Get rid of that weight. Get rid of that. And I did. And it's still an ongoing process because life is full of coulda, woulda, shouldas. And them coulda, woulda, shouldas are brutal. You got to push
Hmm.
it to the back of your head. But, you know, it's never too late as long as you breathe. And that's how I look at it.
I am so curious to, because of a couple things that you've said. You've said you're a learner, you're educating yourself constantly, and there's so much intrinsic motivation that comes from that, that fuels you when you go forward. Where does that come from?
My parents,
Yeah.
they have been working me since I was 5 years old. Like, I was my mom's sous chef. So I was the prep
Hmm.
cook, right? Always. But she taught me how to wash clothes. She taught me how to clean the windows. My father taught me how to cut the grass, mow the, cut the hedges, break the leaves in the fall, shovel the snow, right? I have never, it's like I've never not known love. I have never not known work. I have never not had a job. My first job was a paper boy at 8 years old.
Right?
And then I worked at the AV department at the University of Colorado, wheeling around projectors. Easy job, but it was a job that needed to be done, and I got paid really well for it, right? I did that after school. And then I worked at Dolly Madison Ice Cream in Denver. And then I worked in Mile High Stadium, working at Denver Bronco games and anything that came to the stadium, whether it was a concert or anything. I was like when I was my teenage years, I was making $700-800 every time I worked at the stadium in quarters.
Nice.
Right. So I have never not known work because I have always been a hustler. And what changed me, I think it was the blizzard of 82. No, it was the blizzard. It was a blizzard when we were kids. And it was further back than that. And I think it was like, yeah, it was I
In
can't remember.
Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado. And
Okay.
my father, we always had we're the only family that had a snowblower. So we're just kids playing in snow. But then it was so much snow that everybody else was struggling. So Mr. Grant next year, I was like, I got you, Mr. Grant. We just did the whole block. And then that whole next week, when me and my brother coming home from school, it was like, hey boy, come on over here. And here's $20. I appreciate you doing my walkway. And I was like, I got $20 for one house. My parents is giving me $5 a week for all this damn work I'm doing. That is when the hustler was born, right? Because
Yeah.
I make myself invaluable. Every job I've been at, I have been invaluable. You're gonna have to hire 10 of me to do what I do in one person, whether it be DJing, or any place I've ever been. Like even now, I'm the publicist. I'm the booking agent. I do everything because I love it. You know what I mean? And it has
Yeah.
to be done. I don't look at it as like, man, I don't want. It's like, look, it got to be done. Just do it. Don't complain about it. When you complain about it, that's what make you want to lay in bed. It's like you got to get it done. The more you can get done, I mean, I got books upon books I always keep lists constantly. That's all I do is keep lists. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Just,
What?
just books upon books of just a whole book of just everything I could think of. I write down,
Yeah.
right? And those days when I get stuck, I just start at the top, and whatever's not done, just do one thing. You do the next thing. You do the next thing. Next thing you know, that page is full. I got 5 of these books going back as far as I can remember. And now it's really important because my ass is getting old. So I know that I can't remember like I used to. You shouldn't think that you can remember like that, even if you're young. It's about organization. It's about understanding what needs to be done, right? Now, everything that's coming out of my mouth is way easier said than being done. But, the challenge in life is to be the best you could be, do what you can do, just keep it moving and get the best out of this thing. Because you only get one life. Just think about it. If you think about that, you get one life. I've had all the love. I've given all the love, right? And I still share all the love. I've been very, very blessed. So for me, I just want to get the most out of life because I've been given this gift and given these talents. And I just want to spread them and make people happy. That's it. Simple. And make me a little money as we go along.
Yeah, Archer in the chat said $20 back then was a heck of a lot of money.
What?
Uh-huh.
I mean, because people, I mean, if you got, because back, a blizzard, you guys know more than anybody
Yeah.
that a blizzard and a snowfall are two different things. A blizzard means snow drifts,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So you
Yeah,
can
like
have
you're not getting out of the
your
driveway.
lawn could be, 2 inches of snow, but your driveway has 30 inches of snow, right?
Mhm.
And see, our,
Yep.
our house was easy because we had hedges going all around, so it was blocked. So we
Oh,
never had those snow drifts unless it got higher than the hedges. But everybody else had, it just,
open.
you understand how the snow drifts go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I just got real good at that, and it turned into going to do the leaves for people. People don't want to rake their own leaves. Going and I never really wanted to cut other people's grass because that was other kids hustle in the neighborhood, but raking leaves and doing all the other little things, taking out the trash for people and just getting a couple dollars here and a couple. I've always been like that. So no matter what, I am never scared to work. If I had McDonald's was the last job in the world, I'd be there and I would be running it. I promise you.
I
That is
believe it.
awesome.
I think the other thing that contributes to this, from an outsider's perspective,
Mhm.
is something you said before the podcast started, which was things change. And I think you get it that things change. You have to adapt. You have to learn consistently, and I think that also contributes to your learning and your expertise in these things. So it's from acting to voiceover to podcast experience to music production to now getting your license for something and having done that for 25 years. I mean, man, that is inspirational in and of itself. But it's also so simple to say things change and understand the gravitas of what that actually means.
I'll give you one even better. So I'm living in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Atlanta for the longest was called Black Hollywood because we were one of the only states that had the tax deductions for the whole movie industry moving here.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pandemic hit, because of strikes, because of the pandemic, because of the fires in LA, it just changed the whole industry. See, I could stay here and act. I was getting 60 to 70 auditions a year.
Wow.
This year, I only got 10 auditions.
Hmm.
And I haven't even done half of them because I don't feel that they're not what I want to do.
Sure.
Getting 60 auditions, you get to pick what you can kind of go what you want to do, right? And now it's a different ball game because Marvel left Atlanta
Oh,
to London.
Oh.
right.
That was
I
good.
forgot about that.
And then that, a lot of those studios, there's still it's still going, but Marvel was the engine.
Yeah.
Marvel was the engine, and there's still it's still a lot going on here, but it's regional, it's some Hollywood stuff, but everybody's kind of got the got the note and started doing the incentives. So now they're going to Canada. They're going to, they're doing different places. Vancouver's big. If I
Yeah.
lived in Vancouver, I'd be active, right?
Mhm.
If I lived in I think Maryland was big for a while, right? New Orleans was big for a while. Texas is starting to try to get a piece of it. So, and then everybody's saying, well, it's safe to go back to LA now, but it's like things changed. They're not even making movies like that. The movie paradigm has shifted. Nobody. I haven't been to the movies since before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Nobody goes to
Wow.
movies anymore. I mean, I know I don't, and I went to the movies constantly. I'll go to movies by myself, right? I love watching a movie in a movie theater. But now, because I respect movies so much, I can't. It's almost like me going to a nightclub. I respected the craft so much that I would be bad company because all I'm gonna do is complain about how these young people can't do what I do. I'm gonna sit here and complain to movies about people talking and people looking at their phones. If I'm in a movie and a light goes on, that's disrespect for the movie. That's disrespect for
Oh,
art.
yeah. It is.
Now, I could be being anal and tripping about it, but it means everything to me. right? Movies are everything to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's history. There's so much history in the movies that we watch, in the TV shows that we watch, the TV shows that we grew up on, the cartoons that we grew up on.
Mhm.
Right? I'm a child of Schoolhouse Rock. I would not be as educated if I am if it wasn't for Schoolhouse Rock.
That's right.
I'm telling you, because we heard it every Saturday because we're watching cartoons.
That's right.
Even though it's like I'm just a Bill sitting on Capitol Hill. We knew the
That's
song,
right.
right? But I didn't know what that meant until I got to civics class in high school.
Right. Yeah, then it all made sense.
And now it comes together, and now I know it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But you go now and you look at people in politics, and you're like, how you don't know that? How you don't understand how government works? How do you think that happens like that? Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It boils down to education. And I am not going to get left behind or get bamboozled because I didn't educate myself.
I love hearing that.
Somebody clip that, please.
Yeah.
Option. It's not an option, man. And
Right.
everybody's running around with like chickens with their head cut off. Everybody's hating each other because they're not educated in how this thing works. If everybody was educated in how the thing works, then everybody would have a fair shot. Because you would know exactly what you need to do to make it work for you. Like I tell everybody, I'm like, look, you're mad because they changed a tax code. But you're chopping it up to wins and losses. I'm not doing that. I've always been like, okay, so you guys just made a bill. Let me go read what's in that bill so I can adapt my business to what you've just done for your friends. See what I'm saying? Like that's how I look at it. Everybody, there's no way that you're gonna get people to look. It's just not practical for everybody to think like that. Right? But I try to tell people that's how I do it. So I learn what every year, because I got people in my corner that tell me what I can do and what I can't do when it comes to taxes. So I know what the write-offs are. I know how they're changing stuff. They change every year like this. But you wouldn't think that. You think that this is this is a year that everything's falling apart because they had a big bill, and it's like they do that every single year. If you read and if you understand, if you're connected to it, because these are laws. So if you know the law better than anybody, you are going to be able to not take advantage, but you're not going to get blindsided by it.
Right. I love that you won't be a victim because you educate yourself.
Never.
That's awesome.
It's so much easier than sitting here stewing in hate. And then hate leads to what is it? Hate leads to despair, and despair leads to loathing, and fear leads to the dark side. I'm not going, I'm not taking the path of the Sith. I'm not.
Very well said.
I'm not taking the path of the Sith. You know what I'm saying? I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about how Star Wars has taught us.
Exactly.
They taught us. Everybody's talking about why this and this one sucks and that one. I love everything about Star Wars, even if it does suck, because there's something there. There's always something there. It is life. It is good and it is evil, right? And some versions are better than others because, Andor was incredible.
It was so good.
Like,
I haven't watched it, so please no spoilers.
Oh, you have to. It's
know,
so good.
I'm sorry.
It's so incredible in such a different way.
Yes.
But it's still Star Wars because it is the beginning. Andor is the beginning, really.
Yes.
If you think about, not going back with all the cartoons and all the stuff but sure. Andor is like, this is what it was, and this is why this is why Rogue One started, and Rogue One is why Star Wars, the first episode, started, and it's like a prequel, but it's not Star Warsy, but it's perfect.
Yes, it is. It is. You're right. It's not Star Warsy. It's very different.
Oh my gosh, man!
But it's like pre-Death Star.
It's pre everything.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's in between Clone Wars and Rogue One.
It's really
but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you know, all the other shows, Mandalorian, all that stuff, that's cool because that's good within itself. Because there'll never be an episode better than Luke coming back to get Grogu. I don't care what nobody said.
That
Like,
was awesome.
everybody
Yes.
cried. Everybody cried because of the love of what that meant to. I I cried because of the love that meant, because my parents took me to the theater and I saw the flyest thing as a 10-year-old I had ever seen in my life.
That
And
is
you see the greatest
inspiring.
thing that you've ever seen in your life, that changes you. You know what I'm saying? Just like some of the cartoons changed us subtly here and there, just like Schoolhouse Rock changed us subtly. All of this is education. That's why history is the greatest teacher. You know, but people don't think like that. People just want to stew and hate, and that just don't do it for you, because we all want the same thing. We really do. We just want love. We want to feed our families, and we want to be left the hell alone. We all want the same thing and make a little money.
Right.
It's simple, but all the other stuff messes it up. Now, you know, it's hard sometimes, depending on which way you lean, because sometimes you think certain things are fair and some things aren't. But all I can do is educate myself to take advantage of what the practical reality of the situation of the world is. That's all you can do. So why not spend your energy on that? You know, it still hurts because you see other people going through stuff, but at the same time, it's not. You know, at the same time they have to deal with what they're dealing with in their way.
Mhm.
You know, so that's why. And you know, think about it. I really never heard about mental health till probably 2010, right? Like,
Mhm.
we played all the time, so we got bullied and everything, and it was probably I'm better for it, right? Because I know that it just don't last. You know what I'm saying? It don't last. Everybody go through it, and then you either gonna take it or you're not gonna take it. And at some point, you don't take it anymore, because that's a part of growing up. Right now, I understand things change, a different day, right? So if we're talking about mental health, what are the things that we can do to get that word out your mouth? Because it seems like it seems like a victim term to me, right? It is serious, because hey, I know I've seen crazy. Like I said, I know how people go crazy. I understand it, because in my own mind, I haven't gone crazy, but I felt it where I said I see how people go crazy.
Mm.
Mhm.
And it could be that, you know, it could be that certain chemical imbalance, or it could be you just don't know what it is. Everybody's different, but I understand it. You know, so for me, trying to inspire through what I've been blessed with, singing my Forever Groundhog Day, whoomp, there it is. That can bring people some peace. That's what I do, because I sit there and I look in their face. I'm in an arena with 20,000 people, and they're all looking at me just in awe, just yelling and partying. And because I bring back memories,
Mm-hmm.
I bring back what you were doing in '93, just like
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars
Mhm.
brings back those memories, right?
Yeah.
Or you can be standing Star Wars Celebration and lose your mind because it affects you so viscerally.
Mm-hmm.
Saying these are the milestones of your life that made you, and they're poignant. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, I am who I am. I am like I am, and I will continue to be that way, and I will continue to strive to just ride this life till the wheels fall off. But I am tired, and I don't be getting out of bed sometimes, and I am lazy, and all things are still relevant. I'm not perfect. Hey, yeah,
Yeah. Who is?
I don't get out of bed months at a time. But then how do I combat that? All right, I got my computer with a stand. As soon as I wake up, I don't feel like getting up. Just start working on the computer.
I was going to ask you about that because you've inspired millions. You've talked today about how you even strive to inspire. So I wonder who inspires you? Like you talked about movies, but what else inspires you?
It's conversation.
Okay.
Feels like I've smoked a crack rock. Like I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? It's like
That's awesome.
I'm really excited because my financial advisor, he passed away about 10 years ago, but he taught me a valuable lesson. His name's Bishop Florence. He said, "Man, I learned more from talking to people because he loved to talk and I love to listen." But he's like, "Man, I learn more from talking to folks than I do from reading books or any of that. Because whatever comes out of this mouth gotta make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys aren't sitting there riveted on my every word, it's not making sense. Therefore, that's a muscle that I have trained. And I've come up with some of the greatest one-liners I have ever made just by sitting here talking to people on podcasts. And I don't discriminate. I did podcasts, like they're memorable. One guy was a little late. He was like, "Hey, man, I just had to deliver a calf." He was in Idaho. I'm doing a podcast with a guy in Idaho who just really, he's a farmer and he just wanted to do a podcast, but he had to deliver a calf. And he came in
Wow.
podcast. He wanted to do, I was a guest on his podcast because everybody's trying to do a podcast. That was what the pandemic spawned. It was going to
Yeah.
happen anyway, but it's like I've done them with families. I've done them with drag queens. Like I don't discriminate because that is the practice you get in meeting different people.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I could honestly say I hadn't really paid attention that I was doing a podcast with drag queens and it threw me off. But it was like, you can't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a wonderful time. I remember a lady in Spain. She's like, did you read my questions? I was like, nah. It's like, oh my God, we can't do this. We gotta postpone. I was like, lady, this is where this line came from. Just push play.
That's right.
Yes.
I was like, ask me one question and I'll take care of the rest. Because I could tell the same story 1,000 different ways.
Sure.
I'm a storyteller.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can go in a room and take over the room because I understand what I am always and forever will be a DJ. And my goal is to keep the dance floor packed. Now it's a different context now because speaking does that. Keep the room. Keep their minds dancing. Right? That's what I do. And the fact that I do all these things is kind of my detriment because I can't do it. If there was 10 of me, I'd be a billionaire. But there's only one. And my thing is unique to me. I've tried to hire people and get out. So I've done all of that. But nobody knows what I know because mine is so different. There's not too many people who have had a hit record that's still working after 30 years. I know exactly what needs to be done for me to get what I need to get. So for me to have somebody come in and say, well, we can do this, lead generation thing the way blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you can't. Because you're going to be in the wrong audience trying to find people that have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. And you're going to write it out in the way that you think you should write it out. And it has in this audience and these genres and these way I am is totally different from anybody because there's only one you. There's only one. And I am my business. Run your life like a corporation. That's what I do. So I am the business, right? Mm-hmm. And I work within the rules of the law and with all these rules of taxes and all these rules and law and, state stuff and federal stuff that I know how to do all this. I rock credit well. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I've learned about finance because I vowed I'd never let somebody beat me out of money again.
And I gotta say that hustle game is strong. And
that's right.
I don't even kind of know where to start because there have been so many nuggets of wisdom throughout this entire podcast. And it's so clear to me that you are have truly thought things through. You are so articulate when it comes to what you want out of life, what you expect out of life, and also the love that you want to give to other people because you give it to yourself consistently in very meaningful ways.
Mm-hmm.
And truly, that has been one of the most inspirational things. And so that's what I have loved about this conversation tonight.
And here, I'm gonna leave. This is one that's the fact that you said that makes me think about this. This is how life tricks you. All these wonderful things that I've talked about, all these wonderful things that I've lived, all these things that I do, feels like I've never done them. I don't get to, I can't enjoy them because I enjoyed them back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't enjoy that now. I need new things to enjoy, new things to inspire.
Sure.
They're always like, how come you don't have a girlfriend, DC? Because I've got thousands of women. But you can't sleep with 1,000, you can't sleep with thousands of women. So they're my friends. You know what I'm saying? That's how I fulfill myself, right? I fulfill myself through the fantasy because I worked at a strip club for 20 years. Right? So I was liberated as a man at 21 because I worked at those type of clubs and I worked at the club. But that's the club that really taught me Magic City and being in. I remember I was telling my father, I'll never forget this. I was like, man, I'm the bomb. I'm in the club with all these people. I'm the man. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And they all listen to me and I'm the man. He said, of course you are, son. In a den full of fools. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Like, that don't mean anything, what you're saying to me. Because I know what you're doing. And that changed me. You know, my father is very, very, my father's got a PhD. I took for granted what he was he was just dad to me. But not knowing what he was, I think that's the only regret that I have, that I didn't get more information out of him. Right. But I got the most that I could get, but not as I look back on it. And those are the things that mess you up when you get to this stage in life. It's like, sometimes you be like, man, I wish I could just pick up the phone and call dad. Or I wish I could just pick up the phone and talk to my mom. My mother had Alzheimer's for 15 years. Right. So that was like a slow burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the things you learn from all this, you learn that the fact that she still recognized you is the gift. All these little bitty gifts that might seem insignificant to other people because they've always known her for what she was are just gold for you because you've watched, you know that there's not much time left. So everything that you can get out of it, that's what you're supposed to get out of it. Right? So that is the beauty. See, life can teach you so many things, but it's painful. You know what I mean? Because memories are serious. A memory can break you down, good or bad. You know what I mean? Like I watched you guys' faces when I said Star Wars. Memories are the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean?
We love Star Wars though too.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why it's just that's what makes everything worth living. Memories, because it's not that you were looking at Star Wars. It's who you were with. It was the time here, what grade you were in. It's all these little things like that. Because those memories lead to other memories and open it up to even more. And that lets you know if you've lived a fulfilled life. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you to take all the negative stuff out or learn from the negative stuff and continue on to live the life that you deserve to live. You know, so I want to leave everybody with this. I have several ways to learn. When I want to learn something, I join an organization. Because organizations are filled with people who love their profession. They've been doing it 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And they can't wait to run their mouth about what they did and how they did it. Mm-hmm. Right? So like I'm in grant writing associations, notary association. I was like, I want to be on publicist. So what do? I don't go talk to, let me go talk to 1,000 publicists at a convention because I'm in the Public Relations Society of America. 15 years ago, I was like, I want to start doing shows. Well, how do you do shows? Call a booking agent. Well, that's how we used to do it. How would I do it now? You're going to join International Entertainment Buyers Association, because that's where all the buyers are. So you cut out the middleman being in that association, go to the convention, wear a big "WHOOMP, there it is" t-shirt. Now everybody's on you. And now you're telling we're a clean 90s rap group full of nostalgia, ready to do concerts. And now you've been working every day since. Organizations, because they're filled with people that you can talk to, that you can have camaraderie with, that you can spread love with. In an organization that everybody is like-minded, nobody's trying to hate on you. Nobody's trying to undercut you. They've got all the resources. They can tell you how to get things going financially. They can do all the things that support their industry. You are privy to, and you can speak about it, and you can ask questions. You're reading a book. You sometimes you read a book or listen to an audiobook or look at a course. You're left with more questions than when you started, because you don't know the language. Language is important. Like when I first started my financial journey, I look at CNBC and be like, what the hell are they talking about? But 2 years out, I know everything they're talking about. I can sit and look at CNBC all day and understand exactly what they're talking about, because I educated myself.
Yeah.
So I thank you guys with that. I appreciate y'all having me on your podcast, because it's been wonderful for me.
Thank
and I
you.
want to thank you. Just let me come on here and run my mouth.
Well, Glenn, if you'll indulge us for one last question, we'd like to ask this because it has nothing to do with what we've talked about before, and also one of our comments is actually brought it up. Is there a person, dead or alive, that you would like to have dinner with, and if so, who is sitting across from you at that table?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. Let me think. I've had this question asked before, and I'm still stumped, because some people would say, let me think about it, because I'm in a contest now, right? All these stars, we go up against each other, and they give us questions, and we answer these questions, right? So whoever answers the best questions and they give you points, that's who wins. So I'm on my second year, about to start my third round.
Okay.
And that was kind of one of the questions, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I had to, at this point, probably my mother. My father's had enough, but I would love to sit back and talk to my mom again. Really, honestly and true. Or my great grandmother.
Yeah.
Because I was scared of her when I was little, and I shouldn't have been scared of my great grandmother, because that was wisdom personified. And I got everything that I could have got out of her and squeezed her for all the knowledge she had. And I know that would have added to me being a better person. I'm privy to all this because my grandmother taught me well, and my grandmother taught my father well. But being able to talk to my great grandmother, my Pearl, that would have been incredible. Incredible.
And I have to say, you are the first person to say the great grandmother, and that instantly gets points in my book. So consider my vote casted for you for whatever this competition is.
Cool.
But seriously, Glenn, DC, this, I don't know what to call you. The Brain Supreme.
Man, DC. Just call me DC.
DC.
That's it.
But seriously, this has been a pleasure and absolute honor. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with us today.
Thank you guys for having me. Peace.
As we close this episode out, we want to thank you all so much for listening today. This and other conversations and more behind-the-scenes content can be found at Patreon. Search for us at The Mod Rom on Patreon. You can follow our guest today on Instagram at DCGlennATL. To keep up to date with all the fun things that he's doing, and also maybe ask him a couple questions on his advice for business-related inquiries. But more conversations can also be found on our website at themodrom.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have Have a great evening, everyone.